Oceanside, where every night is ladies' night. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here to review this week's episode of The Walking Dead. Uh, and gentleman CM Styles usually joins me for these, but he is sunning himself currently. Well, maybe not at this time that I'm doing this live, unless he's moonbathing. He is on vacation with his family, so just a shout out to my boy Styles. Hope you are getting some well deserved rest and relaxation, and had yourself and everyone else out there, for that matter, who tunes into this, depending where you're watching this from. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. I did. I'm feeling the after effects of it. I'm going to have to lose about 20 pounds after this weekend. My goodness. I feel like a walker just gorged on a stadium full of people. That's nasty, J-Bone. I'm sorry. So yeah, some people are going to look at this episode as a we'll catch next week's. Some people are going to look at this as a very, very important character development episode. Me, I'll take the latter of the two. Maybe not quite as important because it doesn't feature hardly anyone as far as like the main notable characters. The only main notable character that we see towards the end of this, besides Tara and I kept writing down Keith in my notes. It's not Keith, it's Heath. Is like Eugene and Rosita. But this is primarily Tara's episode, so props to her for getting what I don't think a lot of people thought she was going to get, was an episode all by herself. I give her a lot of credit. She also did, if you watch The Talking Dead following, this episode, you find out that she did all her stunts. So hats off to her for that. That's pretty cool. Just going over a few bullet points here, and not that exciting of an episode. A lot of drama, and the comical, almost middle-aged individual that I am. I'm really dating myself here. Just something goofy to throw in the back of your head, and possibly throw in one of those songs that it's going to take you forever to get out of your head once you plug it in, is the classic 1985's ZZ Top, Planet of Women, You're Welcome. First of all, we see there's two sides to this story. We see the side where Tara's with Heath, and we have not seen them since that raid on the first one of Negan's, I don't know what you call, territories, bunkers, the satellite haven, if you will. And then they decided they were going to go on this trek for they were going to give themselves 2 weeks to see what they could find and then come back. And apparently, from the looks of it, they were not very successful, with the exception of a couple, what do they say, a couple cans of something, that didn't come away with hardly anything. So in this episode, Tara's fairly strong. She doesn't want to give up. She wants to keep going. And Heath is pretty much, looks like he's like at his limit. He's really struggling with what they did to Negan's group. The first one, when they attacked out and killed everyone. Dealing with that horde of walkers a season before that, or earlier in last season, that was one thing, to prepare them for dealing with hundreds and thousands of zombies. It was another thing to deal with this guy who is just outright evil incarnate. And we also find out in this episode, just when you think you're about to sink your teeth into this season and really start to get inside the head of Negan, okay, I really understand what makes him tick. We find out later in this episode a completely another barbaric, horrific side of Negan. Is we find out why that planet of women. No, the Oceanside. I wrote it down here. What is it? Oceanside Cabin Motor Court. Why it's only women and girls. Is because wherever they were before this, they basically ended up here secondary to where they were the first time, is what I think I gathered. And they were another one of the groups that was dealing with Negan. And Negan killed all their men and all the boys 10 years old and older. And at first you don't know how to take, right before you learn that, you're like, okay, seriously, is this some kind of like crazed women society, anti-men or whatever? No, it's not. It's nothing that they did. Although what I think, knowing what Negan did to their group, killing all the men, and probably made all the girls and women watch, you understand how do I say this? You understand the level of defensiveness that they have, where when they find someone, they just kill them. And, us looking in from the outside, it's like, wow, that's really harsh. How could you do that? Well, if you go through what they went through, yeah, it's every man, or excuse me, in their case, every woman for themselves now. And they're going to do whatever they can to survive, and no one is going to stop them. They don't want the risk of being found, which is why they are so defensive towards Tara, with the exception of Cindy. And even the little girl that she's with, and I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. Her name was it Rachel? I think it is. How brutally cruel and just crazy this little girl is, that she's just going to outright kill this person. And Cindy's like, no, wait, you can't do this. And then, of course, like you said, then you find out later in the episode why they're like that. They're just very protective, and it's, it might be hard to understand that, but if you go back and watch everything that everyone's been through in this season, yeah, it's you get it pretty quickly. So Tara went through a lot in this episode, from and they do some time jumping too, which is kind of interesting, going from searching on that, especially the bridge scene with Heath, to later the whole episode of finding that camp of women after being washed up, falling off the bridge, being washed up on the shore, which basically looked like the ocean. And just going through everything she went through, losing her mind, trying to, and I say losing her mind probably because her mind was working frantically, as in trying to save herself, to get herself out of that situation, to try to convince all those women to A, let her live, and or B, let her go. And then fighting for her life right up until the very end, basically, of the episode. So yeah, that was interesting to watch her go through that, and to see her character develop in that aspect. And just as you think things are starting to lighten up and she, crosses the bridge again to go back home, takes out a bunch of walkers, Cindy helps her. Never finds Heath, but she finds that hotel key with the PPP on it. Not sure. And if you watch The Talking Dead, she said the only one that knows what that is Scott Gimple, one of the producer, writer guys. So, are we going to see Heath again? I don't know. Is he going to come back to Alexandria? Is he going to be a part of another group? Is he basically going to... Are we going to see just a glimpse of him down the road somewhere and he's dead? I don't know. It's really hard to tell. You'd think he's significant enough of a character where they are going to show him again sometime within before the end of this season. We'll have to wait and see. And then another hard part of the episode is her learning the tragedy of what everyone else knows from episodes 1 through 5 before this. What the Alexandrians went through with Negan. Negan killing Glenn and Abraham and not even realizing that, and I'm forgetting her name again, doggone it. Her girlfriend, the doctor, or doctor of sorts, that was killed at the end of last season. So yeah, we haven't seen her in 9-10 episodes. She's got a lot of catching up to do. And so we see what she's been up to. I like the episode. And I think with the amount of stress that this show puts on fans as far as dealing with the psychology of a character like Negan, the harshness of knowing what the Hilltop is going to go through with Negan's people, the Alexandrians, Rick's group with Negan, Daryl's fight for survival, and that's all stuff that hits your brain pretty hard. So to get an episode like this that still has some action in it, still has some suspense, tiny bit of comedy, especially when she finds that little store at the end and she finds those goofy looking shades. It's a little bright moment where she's just strolling back into Alexandria. Excuse me. But then, she finds out what happened to everyone else while she's been gone. So it's going to be interesting to see how much longer Tara makes it in this season. Has she gone through enough now where she can earn that special big death that might be looming in the future? I'm guessing it's going to be by the hands of Negan. Hard to say. Another big question is, like I said before, are we going to see Heath again? I don't know, but I think that hotel card has something big to do with it as far as where they went or someone picked him up maybe. Kind of hard to tell. What else? Oh, and if the Hilltop or Alexandrians are ever going to find this group and use them as a weapon, use the Oceanside group as a weapon against Negan, because they are so well equipped. They've got quite the arsenal. These women are not the best shot, as we can see, although Cindy's pretty good. I would trust Cindy to go out with and be a pretty good shot if I had to go on a run with her or something to that effect. So overall, I like this episode. I understand that this season has been hard to watch for some people because of the deaths, the psychology of it. But and I haven't heard exactly what numbers of people have been dropping off, but apparently each episode the numbers are dropping off significantly. It's going to be interesting to see if it comes back at the end of the season, what it's going to take for that to happen. Maybe people were so fed up with the storyline of Negan that it was so difficult to watch because we haven't had to deal with an enemy like that before. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm still watching every episode. I'm going to still review every episode. Yeah, you haven't lost me yet. I love this show. I've watched it since day one. Diehard fan. And definitely one of the hardest seasons to watch because of who and what they're dealing with. But I don't think that justifies people just taking a hike. I don't understand that. But, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, so whatever. So, but nonetheless, like I said, you're not losing me. I'm still going to watch. So it's going to be interesting to see where we go to in the last couple episodes of this first half of the season. I'm assuming we're getting like 2 more. We're going to see where Carl and Jesus end up next week as far as how close they're going to get to Negan's sanctuary and so forth, and probably some other stuff. Got a really bad feeling about that, not going to lie. Not going to predict any deaths, but yeah, that's going to be definitely one that's going to have me on the edge of my seat next week. So yeah, we'll see where this rest of the season goes. Certainly a lighter episode, but I don't think a bad episode at that. So that's it for this one. Like I said, shout out to Styles. We'll see you real soon down the road. Enjoy that vacation. Probably see him back here in a few days doing something different. Possibly going to try to do a review of Metallica's new CD and get his opinions and mine on some of that. So if you're curious about that, if you're a fan of Metallica, you like the channel, stick around for that. You'll see that sometime later this week. And yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a good one. And like I said, hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Hope all is well with all of you out there. See ya.